Welcome to Vroom Vibes. When the engine roars, luxury never stops. Embrace the 2025 Hyundai Grandeur. In the first glow of morning, when the city of Seoul hums alive with its mixture of tradition and modernity, there is a shape that slips silently out of an underground garage. The streets are not yet congested. The neon lights of last night are still fading, and in the quiet hour between dusk and full daylight, the car reveals itself with grace rather than noise. It is the new Hyundai Grandeur, a name already written into Korean history books, a name that has carried 4 decades of ambition, pride, and subtle prestige. But in 2025, the Grandeur is no longer simply a sedan. It is an idea, a philosophy, a statement that the language of luxury need not be dictated only by Europe or Japan. It can be Korean, it can be fresh, it can be different, and it can whisper louder than it shouts. You first notice the way it holds itself on the road. Not in an aggressive stance, not in a posture of a predator waiting to pounce, but in the elegance of something that knows it belongs. The wide horizon LED light bar stretches across its face, a seamless line that glows like a future imagined in neon. Below it, a grille that doesn't seek attention but rewards a second look. Geometric, architectural, proud of its identity. The doors open without frames, clean edges that feel as though they were lifted from concept sketches left on a designer's midnight desk. The roofline flows without interruption, tapering toward the rear in a gesture that is more sculpture than engineering. It is a car that doesn't demand comparison, but quietly asks for reverence. Approach it in the black exterior package, and the mood shifts further. The grille darkens, the wheels glisten like volcanic glass, the emblems blend into shadow. Against an abyss black pearl body, the Grandeur becomes almost invisible in the night until light catches its edges, like the shimmer of silk under moonlight. Against serenity white pearl, it becomes contrast incarnate, black and white, yin and yang, the duality of Korean aesthetics made metal. You feel without words that this car has been designed not to follow but to interpret, not to chase but to define. And then you open the door. What greets you is not an interior in the ordinary sense. It is a salon, a space where material and emotion merge. The seats wear soft Napa leather that feels lived in, yet noble, stitched with patterns that recall Hanok rooftops. Open-pore wood brings the honesty of nature into the cabin. Brushed aluminum reflects a touch of modern industry, and ambient lighting weaves atmosphere into every contour. There are 64 shades of mood available, but it isn't the number that matters. It is the way light seems to breathe with you, changing as your own rhythm changes. The centerpiece is the panoramic curved display, uniting the instrument cluster and infotainment into one sweep of glass. Yet unlike cabins that drown in technology, this one knows restraint. The screen does not overwhelm, it integrates. It exists to serve, not to dominate. The seat adjusts in 18 different ways, and if you find yourself weary after hours on the highway, it will massage your back with a gentleness that feels less like a machine and more like a caring hand. Cooling in summer, heating in winter, and recline that almost allows sleep. In the rear, the Grandeur transcends the role of transportation and becomes a sanctuary. The executive seat reclines, the leg rest rises, and suddenly you are not in a car, but in a private lounge moving through the city. Sound flows from a Bose system, so tuned that every note carries not just clarity, but space, the feeling of a concert hall compressed into the cocoon of the cabin. It is in these details where Hyundai tells you what luxury means. Not extravagance for its own sake, but comfort shaped by thoughtfulness. Even the unexpected has been accounted for. A fire extinguisher, neatly integrated, reminding you that elegance and safety are not opposites but allies. And the details continue in subtleties you only notice over time. Rear seatbelt lighting that glows softly as a reminder. A trunk illuminated to save you fumbling in darkness. Gear shift vibrations that gently correct a hand not paying attention. This is not luxury that brags. It is luxury that cares. But a car, however elegant, must move. And here too, the Grandeur presents choices. A 2.5-liter 4-cylinder for those who need reliability wrapped in grace, smooth and steady, never hurried. A 1.6-liter turbocharged hybrid, the Golden Mean, offering the power of 230 horses while sipping fuel like a much smaller machine, capable of achieving more than 39 miles per gallon with ease and whispering close to 42 when the roads are long and steady. And finally, a 3.5-liter V6, the traditionalist choice, available in petrol or even LPG, a baritone voice that delivers strength without brutality. This is not a car to set lap records, nor does it try. The steering is not knife-edged, but calm. The suspension is not stiff, but isolating without detaching. It is a car that does not shout, "Drive me fast," but instead says, "Let me carry you." And when you choose the hybrid, the Grandeur takes silence to another level. Electric motors glide it through neighborhoods without sound, a ghost of luxury moving between towers of glass and rivers of traffic. The serenity it offers is more profound than acceleration could ever be. Because in a world addicted to speed, the Grandeur offers something rarer: peace. This sense of protection deepens when you realize how the car watches over you. Lane keeping assist too, with its wider gaze, ensures you never drift where you shouldn't. Smart cruise control manages distance with the patience of a chauffeur. Cameras capture the world around you, weaving a 360-degree view that eliminates blind spots. Hyundai's Smart Sense suite envelops you in invisible hands, not constraining but guiding, reminding you always that safety is not a feature but a promise. And with over-the-air updates, even the climate control system evolves. The Grandeur you buy today is not frozen in time. It learns, it adapts, it grows. Yet to understand this car fully, one must step into the cultural stream from which it flows. For in Korea, the Grandeur has long been more than transportation. It has been aspiration on wheels. When it first appeared in the 1980s, it was a badge of success for families climbing into the middle class, a symbol of achievement, a car that told neighbors that progress had arrived. In the 1990s, it matured, becoming the quiet companion of executives who didn't need to flaunt, who believed true power was calm. Today, it returns not only as Korea's flagship, but as a global voice. Because Hyundai no longer builds for Korea alone. The Grandeur of 2025 is meant to resonate in Frankfurt, in Los Angeles, and Dubai. It is a new definition of what a flagship sedan can be, a cultural export wrapped in steel and leather. And it is aware of its rivals. The BMW 5 Series, sharp and athletic. The Mercedes E-Class, dripping with aristocracy. The Lexus ES, serene in its Japanese calm. The Genesis G80, Hyundai's own sibling, loudly premium. The Grandeur does not imitate any of them. It stands apart as something different, cultural luxury. It is not about heritage alone, nor about performance alone, nor about price alone. It is about identity. It whispers of Korea's design philosophies, of balance between tradition and modernity, of subtle power and democratic elegance. It is a flagship not afraid of being its own creature. Driving it, you begin to understand what this means. The Grandeur is not a car you attack corners with. It is not a car you rev to its limits. Instead, it is a companion. You find yourself slowing down, not in impatience, but in rediscovery. You notice the city lights reflecting in its windows. You hear silence in a world filled with noise. You feel the massage roll across your back, while strings from the Bose system seem to paint colors in the air. It is an experience that teaches you that true grandeur lies not in the rush to arrive, but in the act of journeying with calm. The story of Hyundai has always been one of reinvention. From humble beginnings, building small cars for domestic use, to standing shoulder to shoulder with the giants of the industry, the Grandeur embodies this trajectory perfectly. It is the proof that Korea no longer seeks validation, but offers vision. This sedan is a love letter to the very concept of progress, but not progress for its own sake. Progress designed to be shared, progress designed to make life more human, more elegant, more meaningful. When you step out and watch the taillights recede into the distance, you realize what this car has achieved. It has not dazzled you with fireworks or overwhelmed you with speed. It has something more lasting. It has whispered a poem into your ear. A poem about stillness, about elegance, about the value of simply being carried with care. Grandeur is not just the car's name. It is the car's essence. It is not a sedan. It is an idea. An idea that luxury can come not from heritage, but from imagination. Not from inheritance, but from reinvention. Not from shouting, but from silence. The 2025 Hyundai Grandeur is not perfect, because perfection is sterile. It is instead alive, pulsing with the duality of tradition and future, calm and bold, light and shadow. It is Korea's way of telling the world that luxury is not something only to be copied from others, but something to be defined on its own terms. Grandeur is more than Hyundai's flagship. It is Korea's invitation to the world to see luxury through a new lens, to feel comfort not as an indulgence but as a right, to embrace beauty not as decoration but as meaning. And as the city awakens, as the grandeur disappears into the tide of traffic, you realize you will remember it. Not because it shouted, but because it hummed, quietly, insistently, beautifully into the memory of your soul. Please subscribe for more epic content. Hit the notification bell as more content comes your way.